have realized after listening to him that I think Gupta sir is a synonym for energy, enthusiasm, and passion.
The result at that time in 10th standard was so low, and we were so happy that we passed, and later on I come to know that I was the topper after.
Great.
And the results were declared at that time in newspapers. Even though I scored very high marks in 10th standard, but in my home it was not that much joy, because my brother was very intelligent than me.
What is the biggest life's lesson that you have learned from your parents?
One very important lesson that I learnt, that always try to help people. That you being whatever you do in your life, something you have to give back to the society. The founder president of J.J. Magdum Trust, Dr. Magdum, was there. He said that you want to do engineering in Maharashtra. I said yes. He said that in my entire, I hadn't seen a person with that much higher score. So he told me that I will take 50% of fees from you. And now I think that my father was right, because my father made me to stand on my feet.
Deva Patel Group and the work you have done so far. I would like to know your views on employability.
Make them at least learn C, C++, and data structure. Students should feel while attending your lecture that whatever my teacher is teaching, it is not available in the books. If it is available in the books, why the student will come to your class? Whatever you achieve in your life, you go to your parents and you tell that, yeah, Papa or Mama, I have scored these much marks, say 90%. The next question every parent asks, how much have your friends scored? So I always say that they do not celebrate the success of their own children.
I was not able to jump on to the next question. I'm thinking that I should keep on listening to you.
No.
Welcome back in the next episode of 50 Academic Visionaries. And on this wonderful occasion of Engineers Day, I'm going to introduce you to a very passionate, astute, and composed leader in the academic setups in Western Maharashtra. I would like to tell you something very important, but I'm not going to cover here because I have a very personal and very sensitive experience with this guest today when I was supposed to take my engineering first year admission. But I'm going to mention that in very much details in my blog while publishing this interview. So let me take this pleasure to present Dr. A.K. Gupta sir in front of you all. Welcome sir, and thanks for this opportunity to interview you.
It's my pleasure.
So I know you meet a lot of students on a daily basis, and in 2006 I was one of them. I met you in J.J. Magdum College that time. I will explain the whole incident in my blog and I will share it with you. So with your permission, let's get started, sir.
Yeah, surely.
In the first question, I would like to know about your family, your childhood, and your schooling.
I belong to a very small state of our country, Himachal Pradesh. My father and my mother, they were both government servants.
Okay.
So in a government setup, after every 3 years, the transfers are going to happen.
Right.
So I was born in a place called as Hamirpur in Himachal Pradesh, which is a district headquarter.
Okay.
And after that, my entire schooling took place in about 4 different locations in Himachal Pradesh, so where my parents were transferred. So I started my schooling somewhere in Hamirpur district, then went on in Mandi district, and finally for my 8th onward schooling, I came back to Kangra district, where now my parents are located in a beautiful place which is known as a mecca of cricket in India, that is Dharamshala. So I done my schooling, that is 10th standard, from Himachal Pradesh, government school. And as Himachal is a very cold place, there were no private setup of schools at that time. So my entire schooling took place in government schools. Now the government schools are improving, but during our times the things were not so good. Even we were not have the pleasure and opportunity to sit on benches and desks till our 10th standard. So we used to sit on ground, and then I was the school topper in my 10th standard. Now I see towards the marks scored by the 10th standard students, which are 99, 100 and above 90. Last year I come to know that in Maharashtra there are more than 30,000 students who scored above 95% marks in 10th standard. But during my 10th, I think I exactly remember I scored about 80.43% marks, and I was the sixth topper in my state, and the first topper was 82%. So the things have changed in the academic setup, but I am very proud that we studied in a government setup. We were introduced to English, that is ABC, was introduced to me in 5th standard. Till 5th standard we were not aware. We were in mother tongue, Hindi we were taught, and ABC we studied in 5th standard. But later on, when we come to know that English is not a foreign language, and English is a language of business, language of communication. So during my higher studies, I put lot of emphasis that how I can improve my communication skills, and so that journey went ahead. But my schooling is in a government setup, and I am very proud of that. The teachers, those taught me, they were from the government schools, but they were the best of the best.
Great, sir. Great. So, any specific memory? Because these days it's a buzzword: career opportunities, future planning, and all. So, do you remember any specific incident in your school days where you were planning to you were thinking about your future career?
Nothing. We were not at that time in the schools. We were only taught about how to pass. In our times, 8th standard was also board examination. 10th standard was also board examination. I still remember that in my school in 10th standard there were 158 students. And after the declaration of the result of the 10th standard, only 9 students were passed. So the result at that time in 10th standard was so low, and we were so happy that we passed, and later on I come to know that I was the topper after. And the results were declared at that times in newspapers. So Punjab Kesari was a very famous newspaper at that time. So the result used to declare in that newspaper, and we used to go to that there was only one that newspaper vendor in the entire city. So we used to go early at 5:30 to that man, because he used to sell those papers at 7 in the morning. So we have to make a queue at 5:30 to purchase that newspaper, and after one or the other friend have purchased, then we have to see that how. So career etc. nothing was known. But after my 10th, I was known that my elder brother, who is 6 years elder to me, and he was even much more intelligent than me. He was doing his MBBS from one of the finest medical college in India at that time. He was even though I scored very high marks in 10th standard, but in my home it was not that much joy, because my brother was very intelligent than me. He was second topper in the state at the 10th examination, so I was the sixth. So things were not, relatively not so good. But career we were not aware. Nothing.
Okay. So when this thought came to your mind that you should become engineer and all?
I wasted 1 year of my education. My brother told me that as I am in medical field, you should also go for that time there was a PMT exam for clearing joining the medical education. So in 11th standard in Government College of Arts, Science and Commerce, Dharamshala, which was a very famous college, I took admission in PUC 11th standard with the biology as my choice. But but I joined, and after about 4 months, I came to know that biology and medical is not my taste. So then I went to my father and I told him that I'm not so interested in biology, and I want to pursue my career in some other field. And then I took a decision that instead of going for 11th and 12th, I should go for diploma engineering.
Okay.
So I joined the Polytechnic for my engineering journey, and when there I was introduced to higher mathematics, I enjoyed that, and then I thought that no, that mathematics and engineering is my field where I can do my career.
Great. So when you went to your father and you told him about this particular decision that you were thinking in your mind, so what was his reaction?
My father was very good man. He is no more now, but he was of very simple view. Okay, it's your field, it's your choice, it's your taste. If you feel that you are not going to do medicines, then whatever career you want to choose, you choose, and I will be there to help you out. So that was there. So he was a very simple man. He never came to my school. My mother used to take care of all our education. He simply used to say, yes, if you what you want, you do it.
Great.
Yeah.
So that is my next question actually. What is the biggest life's lesson that you have learned from your parents?
I learnt biggest lesson from both my parents, particularly my mother and father, that even though they were working as a block development system, that at that time my father start his career, my father and mother both started their career as Gram Sevaks. So at that time the government setup was so detailed that Gram Sevak used to be the main person in all the villages looking after the problems and daily worries of the people. Even on Saturdays and Sundays in the morning at 7 o'clock, people used to come to meet my mother and father with their problems. Ki, sir, I want to marry my daughter, I want to do something, there is a marriage or something like that. So how the government can help us with the various schemes. So my mother and father, they both were so passionate in helping the people. So that one very important lesson that I learnt, that always try to help people. That you being whatever you do in your life, something you have to give back to the society. So that one thing that I still remember. My elder brother is now a chief medical officer of one of the biggest district in Himachal Pradesh, that is Kangra, and he was the person who took care about the entire COVID pandemic in that area. And in Himachal there is no private medical setup, so everything depends upon the government. And I know that I know my family, that I think from 2020 onwards till date, I don't think that my brother even have enjoyed a single holiday, even on Sundays and so, because you have to report back to the government system, you have to report back to the central system. There are a lot of VIPs coming to the Dharamshala. There is Dalai Lama, that exiled head of the Tibetan state, who used to stay in Dharamshala. So all VIP movements are taking place on daily basis. So, but he is so passionate about his work that I don't think that he take any time for his family. So that lesson I learned from my family, that you should be in doing something for the society, something back to the society.
Great.
Yeah.
And I think, as you rightly said, you are already into that. You're doing it your best.
I'm trying my level best.
Yeah, when I will share my blog, you will understand why I'm saying this.
Ji.
So my next question is, would you like to give any message to the school-going children and their parents?
Particularly to the children, I used to give a particular message that no doubt academic studies are very important, but there are other traits also which are required to be there. You should not only be studious, you should be good in co-curricular activities, you should be good in extracurricular activities, you should choose something of your choice, any hobby that you want to, maybe it's a sport, maybe music, maybe singing, maybe writing, anything. Apart from studies, because I think during the school times and childhood, whatever you do, that remains with you throughout your life. number one. And to the parents, I used to say that please do not compare your children with the other. See, everybody is not born with so intelligent. God has given all of us the same life. Because I feel, I always tell the parents that uh, I tell students and parents both ki there was a very famous advertisement with a tagline कि हर एक दोस्त कमीना होता है. So why I say always this कि whenever whatever you achieve in your life, you go to your parents and you tell that yeah papa or mama, I have scored these much marks, 90. So say 90%. The next question every parents ask कि how much have your friends scored. So I always say that they do not celebrate the success of their own children.
Right.
They compare the success of their children with the friends, and then they see okay, now yes, it's good. So do not compare. See, everybody is there, and I very simply I believe in one very simple thing, that God has given two legs, two hands, and one beautiful brain to everybody. Everybody born is going to do something and earn his livelihood.
Right.
So maybe by one way or the other way. So everybody has his own destiny written. So don't compare your children.
Very true.
That's very simple.
That's a very wonderful message, because parents have become very overconscious.
Now I think people are coming ki coding is starting from 6th standard, JEE, NEET, foundation courses are started from 6th standard, 5th standard. I don't know where we are going. Because we have to see when our children will enjoy their life.
Perfect.
So that we have
Very
to
true,
take
sir.
care.
Very true. Yes. So now the second section would be about your higher education, and I'm excited to understand your journey from Himachal Pradesh to Maharashtra.
When I told my father that I don't want to do my career in medicines and I want to do something in mathematics. So at that time in my state there were no polytechnic in Himachal Pradesh. So because Himachal became a full state in 1971, and I done my 10th standard in 1985. So in those 14 years there were higher education was not that much developed in my state. So then I took a call to do my diploma or polytechnic studies. So at that time, on one fine day, I saw one advertisement in a newspaper from one of the polytechnic in Maharashtra, that is Jaisinghpur, JJ Magdum. It was the key for diploma admissions. So they used to go to various places. At that time, the institutions in Maharashtra, Karnataka, Kerala, they used to go to Punjab, Haryana, Himachal, these states to do their admission. So I went to that place in Mandi. There was a hotel, Rajmahal Hotel. They had given the advertisement at that time, and the founder president of JJ Magdum Trust, Dr. Magdum, was there. So I went there with my mother and I show my 10th standard mark list, because at that time marks were so less. So when that man saw my marks, he said that you want to do engineering in Maharashtra. I said yes. He said that in my entire, I hadn't seen a person with that much higher score. So he told me that at that time the diploma fees was 3,500 rupees. So he said me that I will take 50% of fees from you. So I done my diploma with 1,750 rupees per year as my tuition fee. Then I have done my diploma from that institutions. I scored, I think, 78% in diploma at that time in civil engineering. And
which year, sir?
I think it was 1990. I later on I come to know that I was topper in 2-3 districts of Maharashtra. But unfortunately, the Maharashtra government at that time has a system that the out of Maharashtra state students were not allowed to enter into government engineering or aided engineering colleges because they are not domiciled in the state of Maharashtra. So even though I scored very high marks, but I could not get admission for my direct second year in any of the government college in Maharashtra. So at that time I decided that which college I should choose, I visited number of colleges in this western Maharashtra. Then one day, one fine day, I went to that TKIT Varnanagar, Tatyashah Kore Institute of Engineering and Technology, Varnanagar. So I went there, and Dr. Santpur was the principal. So I went there, and I inquired with the clerk. So clerk saw my marks, and he said that you please come with me. I want to meet you two with our principal. So I went to that person, Dr. Santpur sir, and he said that you take admission in our institution because we have a system that whosoever comes first in second year, third year, or final year, his entire fee is reimbursed back for education. At that time, I think my engineering fee was about 8,000 of rupees. So he said that. So I took the admission in that institution with only one aim, that my fee will be reimbursed. So I'm very happy to that my second year, third year, I was the topper. So my entire fee was reimbursed, and in final year, I became university ranker, topper. So at that time, not only my entire fee was reimbursed, but that institution has a system to pay 10,000 rupees as a special prize to a university ranker. So that I got, and I am very happy that I studied in Maharashtra at that time, and these were the great institution. I have studied under some great teachers at that time. Dr. Santpur was there, then Dr. K.B. Prakash was there, Dr. Narayan Shri was there, then Dr. Mulgund was there, then Donald Mutt was there. So these were the great teachers at that time who taught me during my engineering.
Great. So, when you decided to get into diploma, what was the reason that you decided to, or you chose to be a civil engineer?
That's a very interesting story. Actually, in first year, my branch was electronics. So I completed my diploma first year with electronics as my branch. But somebody told me that there are a lot of scope for civil engineering in government sector. So you do your diploma in civil and you are going to get a government job immediately. So I don't know why I changed that branch from electronics to civil, because if now today after the digital revolution, I think if I could have done my education in electronics, that could have been better. But still I changed my branch and I come to civil engineering only with a viewpoint that there are a lot of government jobs with civil engineering.
Great. So, sorry, I cannot hold myself asking this. You took decision that you yourself took the decision that you want to get into Maharashtra. So you
Not only to my decision, but my father was such a great man, and that in those years, I think in 1986, 87, there was only one train from my northern India coming to Maharashtra. That was Jhelum Express from Pathankot. So he bought me a ticket. And he put me in the train. He said that I am a government servant, I could not afford to come with you. So you go, now you have taken admission, you go. So I came along to Pune. I was not knowing anything. I stayed near a lodge in Pune, and then I inquired in the bus station. They said that to Jaisingpur there is tomorrow morning at 7:40 there is a bus to Kurundwad. So then I alone took that bus. I came to Jaisingpur. Nothing was known to me. But now I think that my father was right, because my father made me to stand on my feet. Nowadays, we pamper our children like anything. Even I pamper my son. So no, I think we should give them freedom. We should give them the responsibility to perform. My father has taken a right decision, because I came along, I learned a lot of things, and then I can perform. And that bring a boldness in me. I'm a very bold person now. So but my father played, and my mother particularly. My mother is a very bold lady. I think she has brought brought, being a Mukhya Sevika and being a BDO at that time, she has brought lot of changes into the lives of the ladies in rural areas. She always used to tell ladies that you are an independent authority and you need not to listen to the ill goings or ill events in your family. So that boldness, I think, by heritage into me, and that's
Great.
there.
So how you were communicating to your parents that time?
Nothing. There were no phone calls, nothing. So we used to take those Antradeshya letters. It's a
Letters.
sky blue color letter. So my father never wrote a letter to me, but my mother used to write a letter once in a month to me, and I used to reply it on those Antradeshya sky blue letters. So that was the fun at that time. No phone calls, nothing.
So, and how did you cope up with the food habits and all these things? Because that was a complete change
See,
in
at
all
that
of a
time,
sudden.
lot of students from northern states were coming to Maharashtra. So, in my Jaisingpur, where I studied for my diploma, there were about 200 odd students from northern India studying at that time. So, slowly the messes, the canteens, they have started
Right.
coping with that, and it was a mix of food, but it was good.
You
We
enjoyed.
enjoyed.
Great, sir.
Yes.
Great. So after so many years, because as you're talking about 1990s and maybe that era, after 20-25 years or maybe 30 years, what all the changes that you look, and how do you look at the current higher education system? Because I was able to see you give a lot of presentations in specifically in the months of admission days. Because I think you are one of the famous orators or speakers for admissions. So
See, what happened that when I started my journey as a teacher, and in the state of Maharashtra, the centralized admission process was introduced, I think, in the year 2001 or so. So at that time, I was working as head of the department in civil engineering and a training and placement officer at that time. So I came to know that the people are not aware about what engineering is, but other opportunities are there, but are the various branches, how I can get the various scholarship, free ships from the government and all that, they were not known. So I think in the year 2004 or so, I took a call to myself that I used to conduct a lot of lectures. So I started in 2004. Then a very famous Palak Sikshak Sangh is there in Ichalkaranji. I came with their contact in 2007. I think from 2007 onwards, from last 15 years, I used to give that immediately after the declaration of the CET result. We used to conduct a lot of lecture series where we address the parents and students about what branches are there, what is JE, what is NEET, what is Maharashtra CET, how they can get the admission, what are the merit numbers and all. So we started with this, and now I feel that still I feel there are a lot of people. Then somebody introduced me to the very typical areas of Kolhapur district, that is Gadinglaj, Chandgarh, that part where still there are no tuition classes, there are nothing. There are 700, 800 students studying in a single school for science courses. There are no teachers. Those students are not aware about how to go for admissions. Then I took lot of lectures in those areas in my late career, and I do it as a passion. I do it for the benefit of the society, and this has become now. I think after the 12th standard result, there are hundreds, thousands of parents and students coming to me ki, sir, how to go for IIT's counseling, how to go for NIT counselings, how to go for Maharashtra admissions, etc. So the people know me, people from very far off places, they used to come me. This has given me a very good advantage to me that wherever any IIT, NIT, COP, BJTI, in those institutions, wherever I go, there is somebody calling me from behind, Gupta sir. So I come to know whenever I hear that word, then the student used to come, ki sir, I attended your lecture in
lecture, right,
2007,
right,
2008,
right.
6, and you guided me. Then I took the admission in these colleges. So it's a fun now.
So you in terms that is something called as giving back to society. as you mentioned in the
That
first part.
further I learned from my wife. I owe my entire credit. No doubt, my parents, my elder brother has put lot of emphasis, a lot of family backgrounds on me. But my entire journey and my perspective looking towards the society changed back when I got married. I got married at a very young age of 25 years at that time in 1995, and my wife, she brought lot of changes in me. She told me that you are so good in studies, so you study something and give back to the society.
Right.
So whatever that I am doing for the counseling, because when I am at home after my office hours, then bundles and bundles of parents and students used to come to my house even till 11:30 or 12. She used to make tea, biscuits, nastas to every parent and student coming and asking me. And I think she is the backbone of what I am doing today. And she always tell me कि नहीं आपको ये करना चाहिए, ये करना चाहिए. So this what we do.
So that keeps you inspired.
Inspiring, and that she is really the strength that I get from her.
Great. So now a very interesting question. Why did you become a teacher, and how do you look at teacher-student relation?
See, there are two types of teacher in life, that but I believe. Particularly in our country, there are two types of teacher, even worldwide. One is teacher by choice and other teacher by chance. In our country, only I think 1 or 2% of teachers are by choice.
Very true.
All other are teacher by chance.
Very true. Very true.
Okay, but later on, most of those teachers who join as teachers by chance, they transform their career from chance to choice. My journey to become a teacher is a very interesting journey. Basically, as I told you that I was the university ranker in my final year of my UG examination. So there was a special 10,000 rupees prize. So at that time there was no electronic transfer of money. So my college told me that you have to come to the college to collect that check or demand draft. So I basically came to collect my result and my that 10,000 rupees DD, and I had even a job with Ansal Group in Delhi as a construction engineer. So while returning back, I went back to Jaisingpur again, where I have done my diploma. Because I have to catch the Goa Express train, another train which was started from Miraj station to Delhi after 2 days. Then I went there, and Dr. Magdoom, he was a great soul. He met me there and he asked me, I gave pedas to him for my success of my BTech or BE engineering.
Yes.
And then he said ki, in Marathi he asked me की आता काय करणार. मी म्हटलं की आय सुपरवायझर म्हणून असा कन्स्ट्रक्शन फर्मला आणि तिथे कॅरियर करणार. सो देन ही आस्क मी की आय हॅव स्टार्टेड विथ इंजिनिअरिंग कॉलेज इन जयसिंगपूर, अँड आय एम लुकिंग टुवर्ड्स गुड टीचर. ॲज यू आर अ युनिव्हर्सिटी रँकर, डू यू वॉन्ट टू बिकम अ टीचर? I said that I have two conditions. Immediately I said, number one, you will allow me to do my post graduation while I was working, and second one, how much you are going to pay me. So at that time he told me, he thought for a moment and he told me that I will pay you 2,200 rupees. As a salary.
And the year?
And the construction company where I had already got an offer, there my salary was 1,800. So I thought in my mind that I am getting 400 more. So I don't know, I had a passion at that time, but I want to do my higher education. So I said okay. Then in the evening I booked a trunk call and to my father and mother, and I said that I got another job with the 2,200 rupees as a teacher, and they are allowing me to do my post graduation and higher education also. So but I should do. Again my mother, father, they both told me ki whatever you like you do as per your choice. So I said no to my construction supervisor job, and I joined teaching as my career.
So everyone who is watching this, is going to watch this interview, must be agree with me that Gupta sir is a hard negotiator from day one.
Yeah, maybe. I'm a negotiator. That make me to convert from a teacher to an administrator.
So that is actually the next question.
Yeah.
That how do you look at? See, I agree that sometimes it's chance and choice, but I feel we all must have to say a big thank you to Honorable Magdum sir, that he gave a very fantastic teacher first, who then converted himself into a really wonderful administrator. So big thank you to him on this occasion.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
how do you look at the student-teacher relation?
See, there is a very thin line between a teacher and student. There are a lot of teachers who want to become popular among the students by some or the other way. But I still I still believe very strongly that there are the two things which students respect. That is one thing, you should be very punctual. I still remember that I never in my life I was late for my lecture. If my lecture is at 9 o'clock, I used to be in the class at 8:58. And I do not allow the students who are coming late to my classes because discipline is very important. Then another part is most of the teachers, what they do that they teach for some times, then they give notes to the students. I from the day one, I believe that 1 hour of teaching is for teaching. And if you want to become a good teacher, you should not read from one book. For preparation of 1 hour of lecture, you have to refer about 10 different books. You have to prepare for about 6 to 7 hours to face the students. Because students should feel while attending your lecture that whatever my teacher is teaching, it is not available in the books.
Right.
If it is available in the books, why the student will
release
come
that.
to your class?
Very true.
So that from the day one, and at that time there were scarcity of teachers. We used to teach number of subjects. Means I think nowadays the teachers even are reluctant to taking a load of 16 or 18 hours a week. But when I joined teaching as my career, at that time we used to take 30 to 32 hours load in a week. Means full day we were busy in teaching, and we were so happy that I'm getting the opportunity to teach the higher classes and to different subjects. So that should be the motto of a teacher. The teacher should be respected by the student.
Very
And that respect is to be earned. It is not that you can get it from somebody. You have to earn your respect as a teacher.
Very true. So I will, for some moments, I will advocate our generation teachers. That do you think that these days, apart from teaching, there are so many activities that are being indulged into academic and college and university setting?
No. Now the teacher's role has completely changed. See, with the global scenario, the old teaching systems are to be changed. We are facing with the outcome-based education, where it is being remembered by each and every teacher that but the lectures and practicals that we are conducting, it contribute only to 40 to 45% of students' learning. There are other things. The student should be known with the modern technology and tool. Students should be introduced to ethics. They should be introduced to value engineering. They should be introduced to communication skills. They should be introduced to the environmental and sustainability. They should be introduced to teamwork, how it should be to work in a team. They should be introduced to various other aspects which are not in the books. So the 40 to 45% is actual teaching, and remaining all other things which are being to be taught to the student, which is required. And we teacher are not doing those things, and hence our students are not performing. We have to find that what the gaps are there. See, when I start teaching a particular subject first time, I used to complete my subject in 42 lecture. But when I used to teach it second time, I was introduced to in-depth knowledge. So my number of lectures go on increasing each year. Then next year I was feeling that I am requiring 50 lecture, because I am going into deep into that study. That should be the approach of the teacher. The teacher should see that how best, what are the gaps, but my students are not understanding. I should, and say teaching is such a profession that it is the noblest profession in the world. It is the profession where after
Selfless.
completion of 60 minutes of your lecture, if you look into the eyes of the student and watch their faces, you know that whether you have done, whether your students have learned or
Yes,
not
yes,
learned.
yes, yes. Very true.
So teachers nowadays, there are very good young teachers. Now I am taking care of number of institution. I come across number of young teachers also. Some of them are wonderful teachers. They are making a right combination of physical modes, online made, modern tools, research, and consultancy. Other parts, they are blending their teaching into different approaches. So this should be there.
So, on this right occasion, can you just tell me three most important attributes of a teacher?
Number one, teacher should be fearless. Because whenever a teacher should go to the class, he should forget about anything. Teaching fearless means कि but I am teaching, in which language I am teaching, but I am doing, he should forget. He should only feel that a synchronization like a music, that now there are my students and me. There is nothing, and whatever I teach, I will teach to the best of my knowledge. Now, number one, the teacher should be fearless. Number two, the teacher should be honest. Honest means the teacher should, generally what happens in most of the classes, that there are 2, 3, 4 students who are talkative, who are good in communication skill, who are good in studies. So teachers, they are the favorites of the teachers. But in a class, a good teacher is a teacher who takes the full class, whole class with him.
Right.
You should always look towards the faces and try to identify that who are the student who are not matching with your pace, who are not coping with your pace. If you are making those students to learn and read and understand, then you are a teacher. So you should be honest, and you should not be कि यार a perception that ये तो लड़का खराब ही है, ये कभी lecture में नहीं आता, ये नहीं करता. No, you should not. You should be very honest with your teaching. Whosoever is performing, I'm with that. And the third is punctuality. You should be very punctual, because a teacher, a student look towards a teacher as a role model.
Very true.
You should be well dressed, you should be well groomed, you should be very punctual. If the teacher is coming late to the classes, the student, how the student
They're going
will
to follow him.
So fearlessness, honesty, and punctuality. These are the three important. And the fourth, you can put, a teacher should have a habit of learning first. The teacher should prepare. Perfect. Then and then you can face the students.
Right. Great, sir. I was not able to jump on to next question. I'm thinking that I should keep on listening to you.
No.
So that's awesome. Next is very interesting, because as you rightly said, in the current role you are dealing with a lot of institutes, and you are trying to empower careers of a lot of other young teachers, right? So can you give us some advice that how to become a good leader, or what deliberate efforts we should do to become a good leader?
Good leader, to become a good leader, there are three things. Number one, again I am telling you, honesty. You should be very honest in whatever you do. Whatever you do.
We have to be 100%.
100%. The second is, you should be into your work 24 hours a day. Empty mind is very destructive. Then you call some friends, then your friends are coming, you are having a lot of rounds of tea, and then you are discussing कि यार वो ऐसा कर रहा है, वो वैसा कर रहा है, वो वैसा कर रहा है. When you are busy in your work now, you do not have time to either talk about the others. You need not have a time for comparison. You have no time for discussing something else. So number two things, you should be very dedicated towards the work. And the third very important part is, you have to take all the people with you. See, getting work done from the others is the most difficult part in life.
I agree.
Leader being a leader is कि when I became a leader as a vice principal, most of my non-teaching staff, they were Marathi spoken people. They were not understanding Hindi, English. So the first thing that I learned Marathi.
Marathi.
Then I used to communicate with them, and very fearlessly I used to communicate with them. And being a leader, if something is going wrong, you have the guts to tell the people, whosoever may be, in front, in on his face, that you are doing it wrong. That should be your quality. Means you should not keep anything deposited कि अरे नहीं कल बोलेंगे परसों अगर if I will tell him but he will think about me. No, but if he had made a mistake, you should be you should have the guts to tell him that you had made the mistake. Number two. Number three, very important कि leader should lead by examples. If suppose I know the rules, I know the regulations, AICT, University, DT, Pharmacy Council of India, or say Medical Council, National Medical Council, or AYUS, any whatever is, or Council of Architecture. First of all, I should read each rule, regulations very, very, in very, very detail to myself. I should be the master in that. Because if somebody, your clerical staff, your faculty, your HOD, your principal is coming to you and telling कि sir doesn't know this, and they will try to make fool of you. They will try to find the ways to or excuses to not to do the work. Perfect. But if you know everything, then you know that where the person is making the mistake. That is the another part. You should be very learned in that. Third thing is कि you should learn lead by example. You should be a leader. I know there are two definitions of a leader: the leader who walks in front and the leader who walks behind. But I still feel the leader who walk in front is the true leader. You should come here, come with me. But is there a problem? I will tell you. I am there. I will hold your hand. But we have to do this. You have to lead by your examples.
Great.
That is very, very important. And I am on this occasion, particularly to this question, I would like to say that I become a leader in my old institution, but the real grooming in my life, which has taken place after joining this D.Y. Patil group. I am so thankful to Dr. Sanjay D. Patil, the president of D.Y. Patil group, Kolhapur, and his son, Mr. Ruturaj Patil, who is the youngest MLA in Maharashtra, because those are the two persons who brought me to this D.Y. Patil group. And then not only they brought, but the Dr. Sanjay D. Patil and the entire D.Y. Patil family, they had given me the freedom to work. They had given me the opportunity. They have shown faith in me, and they told ki sir, we want to do this, and there is all roles, responsibilities, freedom, power, everything is with you, but we want to do this. So I am so thankful to them that they have shown tremendous faith in me. Then I was introduced to various things, be to agriculture, to architecture, to pharmacies, to other institutions, setting up the universities, setting up the institution. So they gave me the target. Then I start learning, and a day come and then I go back to my boss and I tell, no, you need not to hire any consultants, you need not to do. I am there, I will lead my team and I will say. Now I had made this system in all my D.Y. Patil group, where under the leadership of Dr. Sanjay D. Patil and with the able guidance of Mr. Rituraj Patil, we have completely changed the face of D.Y. Patil group in Kolhapur in last 5 years.
Even I can see.
So that also with the same employees, same people. When I was new in this organization, people were reluctant to work with me, but I led with them from the front. I inculcated the confidence in them, and now I think they are all with me. Now I give them the challenges and they do it. I'm so proud of my team. I'm so proud of my people there.
Great, sir. Yes. Great. So just to finish, maybe 2 or 3 questions. As you rightly mentioned about D.Y. Patil Group and the work you have done so far, I would like to know your views on employability, as well as I would like to also request you that you share your experiences in last 5 years about employability, training placement with D.Y. Patil Group as well.
Previously in our country, this concept was not known to the parents. there is something called as rate of return, ROR. So, because I am spending 4 years of my precious life in doing engineering or pharmacy or any other course, my parents are investing money, or even the government through the free ship and scholarship are paying the money. So, but I will get after spending this. What is my rate of return? So now the parents and students have started thinking that we should make our student to not only be good in academics but too good in other traits which the companies want. I always tell my students in first year and the parents that if the recruiters only want your children to be good in academics, they should never have come to the campus recruitment process. They should have sent a mail to the principal of all the colleges ki send me the list of the toppers.
Perfect.
Okay, so but they come to the institutions to not only see the academics is a benchmark, it's a entry pass.
Right.
Okay, after that, how good is student in analyzing a problem? How good a student in identifying the problem? How to make that problem's methodology to solve it? How best he can analyze, how best he or she can propose a solution to it, how fast are his or her movements, how fast is grasping, how the student can perform in a team, how the student can be doing a particular job in minimum possible time. That is what the companies are looking forward. And for that, way back when I was the training and placement officer, I think about 20 years back, when I talked to the companies, and I was the training and placement officer in golden era of placement at that time, where I think at that time companies, it was a IT boom in 2002 and so, companies used to come to us and they take all our students, and still the HRs used to call us कि नहीं sir कुछ और students मिलता है क्या. But later on, when that IT boom started coming down, then the companies started making their process more stringent. So then I talked to the student, I understood their problems, that these are the areas, that is data interpretation, logical reasoning, analytical thinking, communication skill, written English, spoken English, all right, target setting, goal setting. Students are very weak in that. So then I think in this entire Maharashtra particularly, we were the first to start a process of making soft skill training as a mandatory part of academics in our syllabus. And where 36 hours of training in each semester to the student, and that had given a wonderful result. In DY Patil group, when we came, we again make the student, we conducted lot of meetings with the students, we conducted lot of meetings with the parents, we make them understand why this training is important. Initially the attendance of students in the training lectures were very less, but later on when we put the examples to them, I am so happy that in our DY Patil group in the last 5 or 6 years, particularly I owe this to Mr. Satej Banti Patil, also Vice President of my group, because he always used to meet me and tell me, ki, sir, what we can do different for the Kolhapur. We have to make a Kolhapur brand. We have to address the problem of employability in Kolhapur. So at that time, then we talk to the students, then we make training as a mandatory part of our system. In all our DY Patil group institution, training is a mandatory part of syllabus, whether it's universities or institutions. And then the result started showing. Last year, one of our student, girl student of DY Patil College of Engineering and Technology, Kolhapur, she passed the internship exam of Adobe USA. She was given internship of rupees 1.2 lakhs per month for 4 months by the Adobe for her second year and third year. And later on, that girl converted her internship into pre-placement offer, PPO, and she is now getting, I think 60.37 lakhs rupees package from the Adobe USA in Kolhapur. In our DY Patil group, placements are 100%. But I tell my placement officers always that placements are not important to me. My dream is that each and every student in final year before graduating should have 2 to 3 offer or 4 offer letters in his or her pocket, and the student should make a decision that which company I should
They
join.
should go.
And that also coming, we always see that what is our median salary, what is our mean salary, what is our average salary of the passing out batch. We are working towards, and each year we are improving. Last year I think our average salaries in DY Patil group has increased to 6.1 lakh per annum.
Great.
So we are working, and then we introduced foreign languages to the student, but because I feel that entire globe is a small village. So we introduced Japanese and German to the student, because these are the two. Germany particularly for core branches like mechanical and electronics, there are huge
Right.
opportunities outside. And for IT industry, Japan is another destination which is going to come in a big way in the coming years.
Yes.
So Japanese introduced. Students are student. They are like a wet mud. You have to mold them whatever they want. But training, I strongly believe that for any engineering graduate or any professional graduate, before graduating, about 250 hours of dedicated training
Training is required.
for communications, for goal setting, then data interpretation, logical reasoning, or verbals, and all that. It is so important that it should be there. And apart from that, some value added courses or certifications of your own choice. Say for you are from IT background, then Microsoft is there, then AWS is there, Blue Prism is there, Red Hat is there. You can go for all those. Then when you come to the mechanical, then CATIA or UGS or Unigraphics or say ProE, something like this, or Siemens software. When you come to civil, then there should be ETAB, there should be SketchUp, or there should be Strad. These some value added courses you should learn. And computers has become a part of day-to-day our integral lives. I tell all my students that irrespective of the branch that you are, whether it's a civil, mechanical, production, coding is not now computer engineering. Coding is engineering. They should at least learn C++ and data structure. Even a mechanical engineer with a deadly combination of C, Java, C++ or data structure is a very deadly combination in the market. So they should aspire for that. And particularly Python, they should lifelong learning. Means they should change, because when I studied, I never saw computer any language. I was introduced to Fortran 77 when I was a student of engineering, and in our entire college there were only one computer. And our teacher used to show us that computer in a glass cabin, that this is a computer, you need not to touch it. Because at that time it was costing about 2 lakhs of rupees. Now every student is having the laptops, and thousands of computers are there in the colleges, but they have to learn. Particularly to the non-circuit branches of mechanical, civil, production, chemical, I want to urge the students and parents of all those branches, do not think that coding is a foreign language or a language of computers only. Make them at least learn C++, and data structure. Because if they go with that, then they can be successful in companies.
Great. So actually, I had a request that towards the end I was supposed to get three messages. One was for student, another was for parents. But I think in the last question you have already covered so much, so everyone is going to be happy. So only one message remains. But still, if you want to give a special message to students in Paris, considering the first year admissions that are coming so far, so you can give two messages. But the one message that I want from you is for your fellow academicians, because I'm sure, sir, when this interview will be published, not only leaders but the management people from other institutes are also going to watch what Gupta sir is going to say. So please give them a message.
To all management people, my request is कि show the belief in your leadership. I am so lucky, but I am successful because my leaders, my bosses have shown 100% faith in me. Show faith in your system to the leaders. To the academicians, my message is very simple. We were taught in old system has changed. We have to cope up with the system.
Great.
Our students are with the laptops, our students are with the iPads.
Right.
Our teachers should also be with the
Perfect.
iPads, and
Perfect.
they have to grasp and transform themselves to teaching. And also to all those teacher community, I want to say one thing. Even though you have joined teaching as a choice, as a chance by career, but transform your journey to teacher by choice. And to the parents, do not compare your children with the others.
Yes.
Okay, I am so proud to be of my son. Whatever my son do in my life, I am so happy with that. I never ask him whatever you do, and he is a very successful person now. But I tell that my son taught me lot things in my life. He made me to change my communication skills. He made me to change my language. He made me to say boldly. Made me to say strongly. So I still feel that my parents were my teachers. My elder brother is my teacher. My wife is a very effective teacher to me. But my son is a great teacher to me. So believe in your children. So your children are the only asset in your life. You may have thousands of crores of rupees, but if your children do not know how to spend it, there is no use of it.
Great, sir.
Yes.
So, friends and everyone who is watching this interview, you must have realized after listening to him that I think Gupta sir is a synonym for energy, enthusiasm, and passion. So, thanks for joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.